Hi everyone, I'm James, and for the past 3 years I've been pouring my heart and soul into Dread Protocol, an action-packed roguelike looter shooter set in space. The game is the spiritual successor to my 2021 release, Dread Rune. However, this time I'm releasing for Steam and Steam Deck instead of mobile. So what sets Dread Protocol apart? The star map and every station you dock at is procedurally generated, and every wall is destructible. This isn't just a feature, it's a core gameplay mechanic. Walls crumbling mid-firefight can create new routes, expose hidden dangers, or provide clutch escape paths. And when the chaos gets too much, you can always eject your enemies into space. So ready up as I take you through a game that's quick, brutal, and endlessly replayable. If at any point during the video I've piqued your interest, I'd love your support. A wishlist on Steam makes a huge difference. It's currently at 230 wishlists, but hitting 1,000 would mean the world to me. Plus, you'll get notified when the demo drops. I think a great place to start when explaining a game as layered as Dread Protocol is to navigate through the core loop of the game and highlight the main beats. First thing you'll do in Dread Protocol is choose your character. Each class starts with its own unique weapon, equipment, and traits, giving every character a distinct playstyle right from the start. Starting weapons are designed to feel different from one another while sharing one key feature: they never run out of ammo. That said, they're intentionally weaker than most weapons you'll find while scavenging, so they serve as a reliable fallback when you're in a tight spot. Traits are where things get even more interesting. Each character comes with a mix of randomized positive and negative traits, adding variety and unpredictability to every run. You'll be able to unlock additional characters as you play. There are currently 10 playable classes, each bringing something unique to the table. Every run begins at your home base, a relaxed hub area designed to give you a breather before diving into the chaos. Here, you can check the requirements for unlocking new characters, track your progress on achievements, or test your skills in the shooting range, maybe even set a high score. You can also review your previous runs or revisit the seed that shaped them. Of course, for those who prefer to jump straight into the action, there's always the quick start option to bypass the hub and launch directly into a run. Once you begin a run, you will encounter a series of stations to board. Each station comes with up to 3 unique station effects that can directly impact gameplay. These will require in-game currency to reveal. Most stations feature branching scenarios, where the outcome is determined by the choice you make in the dialogue system. Dialogue trees can actually get pretty complicated, which is great, as it encourages a lot of replayability. The outcomes are based on dice rolls, so are not always guaranteed. If a station looks too risky, you're not obligated to dock, but skipping too many comes with its own dangers. Running out of fuel will trigger one of several out of fuel events. These situations can halt your progress entirely, and in some cases, they can even bring your run to an abrupt end. Boarding and assaulting stations is where most of the gameplay action happens in Dread Protocol. Each station houses a warp core that you'll need to locate and either destroy or hack. Once you've dealt with the core, it's time to extract and return to your ship. Warp cores are your main source of warp crystals, the game's permanent currency. These crystals allow you to unlock powerful upgrades in the skill tree between runs, making every successful mission a step towards a greater strength. After a successful extraction, it's back to the star map to chart your next move. There are currently 13 station types. Each has their own set of enemies, rooms, and scenarios. Stations can be a combination of 2 station types to add even more variation. Destroying 3 warp cores, completing 3 stations, will trigger the 4th station to be a boss. Currently, there are 3 bosses in the game. While I don't plan to include more than 3 boss stages per run, I'd love to have interchangeable bosses in the future, to keep each run feeling fresh and unpredictable. At the start of each station, you'll pick a new cybernetic enhancement. These abilities stack and reset at the beginning of each new run. Cybernetics can also be found during gameplay, and by the end of a run, it's not uncommon to have 30 plus equipped, leading to some powerful builds. Stations also feature fuel crates, which increase your available jumps on the star map, equipment crates, that contain a one-time use item for emergencies, and gun crates that drop a randomized weapon, allowing you to equip up to 2 additional weapons alongside your starting weapon. Speaking of weapons, you have all the usual guns you'd expect: pistols, submachine guns, assault rifles, snipers, and shotguns, as well as rocket launchers, beam weapons, and grenade launchers. Even a weapon that's definitely not the Needler from Halo. Weapons are generated from over 40 gun models, each with around 12 skin variations. Additionally, weapons can have random attachments. The higher the weapon's level, the more likely it is to include attachments, as well as affecting their quality. Weapon stats, such as accuracy and fire rate, are generated based on a rule set for their specific weapon class. Attachments also impact functionality directly. For example, scopes adjust zoom distance, magazines control ammo capacity, silencers affect how far away enemies can detect your shots. Weapons also feature a variety of firing modes: single shot, automatic, burst fire, and charge and release. Hit registration is split between hit scan for kinetic human weapons and projectiles for sci-fi inspired guns. There are also melee weapons that range from wall smashing hammers to katanas. All of this is to say, you're never really too sure what you'll find in the weapons crate, which makes them so fun to open. Another offensive option you have is your gravity hand. You can pick up most physics-based objects in the environment. You can then launch these at enemies to take them out. Once you get the hang of it, it gets really clutch. You have to be mindful of its charge though. You can also pluck enemies' weapons from their hands. My favourite thing to do is pick up mines or explosive barrels and launch them into groups of enemies. I've also added some gore and limb destruction to the game. Whilst it's not Red Dead Redemption levels, I'm still quite satisfied with the results. You can pop heads and limbs based on where you shoot. Grenades will completely dismember your enemies, and shooting close to surfaces will create blood splats. Enemies will even bleed out on the floor. So that's the core loop over with. What does it all add up to? I want the game to be quick, violent, and brutal. It's designed to reward skilled players who can find their flow state. Like many roguelikes, I'm aiming for hard but fair. I hate spongy enemies, unless they're tanks designed to soak up damage. Even on higher difficulties, enemies won't take longer to kill, they'll just hit back harder. The game will release on Steam and is fully playable on Steam Deck, running at a smooth 60 FPS on the handheld device. This is before upgrading the project to Unity 6, which should further improve performance. Controller support is fully implemented, with sticky aim and aim assist added to make gameplay feel natural. Making a game as ambitious as this comes with challenges. Here's where I've had to compromise, and how I hope to improve in the future. First off, I love Synthi assets. Yes, they're overused, yes, the market is oversaturated with them, and yes, they've been in one too many less than credible asset flips. But as a solo developer working on this game in my spare time, they've allowed me to be far more ambitious with this project. That said, I've already started modifying these assets to better fit the game style. For the environment, I've adjusted existing meshes to make walls destructible. For characters, I've created custom textures. I've also modified the render pipeline to achieve a toon shaded aesthetic. Combined with post-processing effects, I hope this will help me stand out. Going forward, I'd love to expand on this further. The first area I'd tackle is the characters' heads and faces. I currently use helmets and kit bashing to avoid their default look, but I can't do this for every character. If the game gains traction, or a strong wishlist following, outsourcing to a professional character artist will be high on my priority list. Games like Raidborn and Far Gone have succeeded with this approach, and I hope to emulate that.
Well, looks like you're in a bit of a pickle.
AI voices can be a divisive topic in game development, but I chose to include them to keep players engaged with the dialogue events on the star map. Turns out, not everyone loves reading big chunks of text.
The flare's energy surge disrupts the station's systems, causing widespread chaos and fires to break out.
Ship, this is Commander Rodriguez. I'm aware of your allegiance with the rebels, but we find ourselves in dire straits. Our fire suppression systems are failing.
If I had the budget, I'd absolutely hire professional voice actors. Great voice work can elevate even average writing, adding weight and emotion. However, my dialogue is constantly evolving, with events being written and rewritten, so the cost is just hard to justify right now. Through playtesting, I'm happy with the overall length of a run. A full playthrough takes 45 minutes to 1 hour, though most runs will be much shorter due to the game's punishing difficulty. I don't plan to extend the game's length or add new features. Demo pending, of course. Future updates will focus on keeping the game fresh with new content, including more cybernetics, more dialogue events, more station types, alternate bosses, and more enemies. So what's next? Once I've ironed out the bugs, I'll release the demo. Should I aim for the Steam Next Fest? I know that process takes several months, or would it make more sense to release as soon as possible? Let me know what you think. Finally, I want to thank you for watching. There's so much I couldn't cover here. Environmental design, enemy design. I could have made entire videos about the topics I did discuss. If you have any questions or want me to dive deeper, let me know in the comments, as I'll be making more follow-up videos. If Dread Protocol caught your eye, please add it to your wishlist and join the Discord to stay in the loop.